Hey guys, it's Peyton, and today I'm going to be doing the HALLOWEENTOWN book tag. And this is a tag that I actually created with my good friend Brittany from Brittany and Books. By the way, you should go subscribe to her because she's pretty awesome. And we both love HALLOWEENTOWN, and we saw a lot of people on book Twitter talking about their love for HALLOWEENTOWN, and we realized no one has done a HALLOWEENTOWN book tag. And it's October, it is spooky season, it is time for our HALLOWEENTOWN rewatches, and it's 4 Disney Channel original movies. A lot of people hate the 4th one. I love them all. I'm trash for all of them. Watch them every freaking year. They mean the world to me. They're like a Halloween tradition for my life. I believe we have 12 questions we created, and they're based off of different characters that appear during the movie series. Definitely do this tag if you want to. We would love to see a lot of people do it. If you love HALLOWEENTOWN and you have a booktube or a book blog or whatever, do this tag and make sure to give us credit because we're awesome. But we might as well just go ahead and get into the question. So question number 1 is HALLOWEENTOWN, a fictional place you wish were real. This is a pretty basic question, but for real, it's important. I grew up always wanting HALLOWEENTOWN to be real. I legit was trying to write a HALLOWEENTOWN fanfiction. I wish there was books about HALLOWEENTOWN. For this, I had to choose Crescent City or House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, but the place in here is Crescent City. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of HALLOWEENTOWN because all the monsters and creatures live together, and this book is all about this high fantasy world, but there's a city called Crescent City. Obviously, I've only said that like 50 times. All of these supernatural creatures live together. We have fae, we have werewolves, we have vampires, I think, and just all the ones that you can think of, like mermaids, everything. They're all in this one area. I would just love to live in such a magical place with so many different types of creatures, like vampires, like just everything. I literally live for supernatural books. And this book is a heavy hitter. It's pretty much about our main character, Bryce, and her best friend gets murdered, and her best friend is freaking awesome. Like literally, I love her so much. Then we have a flash forward 2 years later. She's trying to figure out who killed her, and she teams up with this really hot dude to do that as well. So it's mostly a murder mystery, but a lot about dealing with grief. I think Sarah J. Maas does really well with like mental health issues and characters dealing with trauma in general. Question number 2 is Marnie. Name a book about witches. So we all know Marnie's a freaking witch. Like, come on. Like, that was such the basic freaking question, but like, for real though, what's a book about witches? And I actually struggled coming up with an answer for this because I realized I don't think I've really read any book that is just centrally about a witch that I think is like actually good and that I would recommend, but I came up with like a little bit of a cheat answer. The book is Foul is Fair by Hannah Capin, and this is a Macbeth retelling, which is a Shakespeare play, and I've actually read that for school. This is about a girl and her group of friends getting revenge because very massive trigger warning for rape and sexual assault. Our main character, it's heavily implied that this happened to her at this party she went to one night, and it was by a group of boys. And these group of boys go to this high school. She decides to freaking disguise herself and go to this high school because she wants revenge. It's pretty much Lady Macbeth. Because if you know Macbeth, you know, like, Lady Macbeth was, like, the true freaking villain. Like, she was whispering in Macbeth's ear to do all these things. And that's how this main character is doing. But her and her friends, like, reference themselves as a coven. They kind of seem to have, like, a little bit of powers. I don't know. It's very weird, and I wouldn't call them witches, but they kind of reference themselves as witches. And I definitely would not say it, but these characters are based off of witches in the story. The Foul is Fair as a title is a line that witches in Macbeth said. So this is me making an excuse to recommend this book. I thought it was super powerful, and even if you don't care for Macbeth, like, this is a revenge story. If you want to see a girl get her revenge, read this freaking book. Every character in this book is morally great. Crazy shit goes down, but it's satisfying. Question number 3, Sophie. Name your favorite middle grade book. So when I think of a middle grade book that I love so much, I always think of The Land of Stories by Chris Colfer. and the first book is called The Wishing Spell. I originally picked up this book because Chris Colfer played Kurt in Glee. Glee's one of my favorite shows. He actually writes really freaking good books. And I've only read the first and second one in this series, and I really want to read the whole thing. I'm going to reread everything so I can just be here for these books. And I'm not really that into middle grade, but this just swept me away. It's all about these two twins, or these two kids, they're twins. So they find this fairy tale book, and I think somehow it sweeps them away into another world. It's fairy tale worlds, and it's all the fairy tales but after, like, the ending. So, like, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Cinderella. Why did I say Snow White? Like, what the heck was that accent? My accent is so ugly sometimes. They are all living in these kingdoms in this freaking land, and it's all after the time. And, like, you see the problems that have ensued after the stories that we know and love so well, and they accidentally freaking shoot themselves into this world. They need to find a way to go back home, even though they're loving what they're seeing. Like, this world is so cool. It's such an adventure. Question number 4, Dylan, name a book with a magical school. So for this, I chose Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. I actually own this book, but I legit don't feel like getting it out. It's under a whole stack of books, and that's super annoying. And this is all about this academy. Oh my god, it's in the name of the book, for vampires. And like, this is a classic YA series, but do not ignore it. It is so good. I love this series. I've read it twice, and it doesn't disappoint. The third one is everything. I love that book so much. There's like different kinds of vampires. There's the Moroi. They're like the good vampires. They like don't kill people and stuff, but they still get their blood, but like they're nice about it. And then we have the Strigoi. They freaking actually feast on the blood of the Moroi. These vampires are bad, and they're mean, and they're terrible, and they have like no humanity. Like, for real, they're horrible. And then we have the half human / half vampires, and those are the Dompiers. And Dompiers have sworn with their lives to protect the Moroi forever from these freaking Strigoi. And this academy is for the Moroi, so the good vampires, and Dompiers in training so they can protect these vampires. And our main two characters is Rose and Lissa. Rose is one of the vampire protectors, and she's such a badass. I love that character so much. She's so confident and just everything. Like, she's a great character and so much fun to read about. And then we have Lissa, and she's like low-key like ill, but she has a romance with this dude named Christian, and it's like the cutest thing ever. So that's why I like that shit. It's a 6-book series. Holy shit. I just like inhaled a ball of dust or something. Like, that hurt. Why do I keep cussing in my videos by accident? I'm being so bad. I'm supposed to be family friendly. Question number 5, Grandma Aggie. Name a book that helps you escape into a brand new world. For me, I chose A Song of Wraith and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown, and I chose this because this world is so well done. The world building in this book made me feel bad about the fantasy book that I'm writing. It is so developed. You can tell Roseanne A. Brown really knows her world and her history and everything about the little intricacies of this freaking universe. And this book is so much fun because it's pretty much a princess who is newly about to freaking be the queen because her mother just got assassinated. She's trying to bring her mother back from the dead, but to do that, she needs a king's heart. So she's going to try to get married real quick, and there's a competition in her city that she gets to decide the prize for the winner. So she decides the winner is going to be her king, and then she's gonna freaking murder him. The dude that we have in here, Malik, I love him so much. He has anxiety, and I love to see mental health representation in fantasies because I feel like that is normally brushed over. And it's pretty much both of them having to kill each other because Malik is in a situation where he's told to murder the princess because his sister got kidnapped, and the only way to get his sister back is to freaking do what the dude says and to murder the princess. So they both are trying to murder each other, and they kind of start catching feelings for each other too, so it causes an issue. Question number 6, Kalabar. Name your favorite villain. So every time I think of a good villain from a YA book series, because that's what I primarily read, I think of Queen Lavanda. Queen Lavanna from the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. She's just such a memorable villain because I feel like she is so well developed and we really get inside of her head, especially since there is a full-length novella that you can read about her origin story. And you really understand where she's coming from, but can still see that she's a freaking evil person and what she is doing, all the trauma that she's had in her life, she is dealing with it in the wrong way. She has become a terrible person, but at the same time, you kind of feel bad for her because of the terrible things that have happened to her, but you also freaking hate her guts the whole way through. Such an interesting person. She's the queen of the freaking moon. Iconic. Like, I feel like that's so cool because this is a sci-fi series. It's retellings every single book. So we have Cinderella, we have Little Red Riding Hood, we have Rapunzel, and we have Snow White retellings in this book. And it has a large cast of characters. They're all so soft. But dang, Queen Lavanna, you can die. Like, for real, bye. Question number 7, Benny. Name a book that is always there to get you out of a hard time. Now, I feel like a lot of us would already know what I'm gonna choose. I tried to be more creative, but let's be honest with ourselves. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins is my comfort book, which seems weird because it's a freaking dark story about children murdering each other. Who would enjoy that? Apparently me. I love Katniss and Peeta. I love the characters in this story. They give me everything. They give me life. Katniss is such a strong character. Peeta is such a strong character. They have been through so much. They have been through so much individually and together. They are everything to me. And it's just such a powerful story about rebellion and a terrible government and standing up for the entire world. And I just love them so much. And there's a romance that's really soft. Not gonna lie, I'm a big freaking fan of the romance. If you want to watch my Why Peeta is Better Than Gale video, PowerPoint, it's here. I linked it on the screen. Question number 8, Luke. Name a character with a hard exterior but is actually soft inside. I'm picking such a basic ass answer, but that's what I wanted to do. Warner from the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi. I love this series so freaking much, especially the original trilogy. There's 3 more books added on eventually a few years later, but Warner is such a freaking bitch in this book. But Unravel Me, the second one, he has layers and we see more about where he's coming from, and I literally love like a hard exterior book character, like a character that comes off really harsh at first, but as you get to know them more, you see all the terrible things that have happened to them, and you see all the soft sides to them and how they can be so freaking cute and adorable, but they're just too scared to let their feelings out. Oh my god, I literally am trash for anything like that. Like Finnick Odair, like anything like that. I almost said Finnick for this, but like, I could literally answer the Hunger Games for literally everything. And Shatter Me is pretty much about a girl who has a poisonous touch. She touches you, you die, and it's a dystopian setting. The world's kind of fallen apart, and she's currently been in an asylum for like almost a year. It's been a long time. And one day she's broken out, and the government wants to use her as a weapon, and the dude doing that is Warner, and it's a complicated relationship. Read it. I really recommend it. It's so freaking good. Question number 9, Cal. Name your favorite guilty pleasure book. Some people could probably guess this as well. The Selection by Kira Cass. I know these books are trash. I freaking did a whole reading vlog series of me reading the first 3 of this. It was everything. If you want to watch those vlogs, I will link it. But literally, I'm trash for the romance in this books, the entertainment, and the freaking drama. It's pretty much The Bachelor, which is one of my favorite freaking shows. It's The Bachelor with a prince, and it's also like a Hunger Games ripoff. I love the Hunger Games, and I can appreciate the similar elements that are put in here. America Singer, the main character, yes, her name is America. Who the frick would want to be named that? But whatever. She is like a ripoff of Katniss Everdeen. She's trying to be Katniss. She's trying to have her big moment of rebellion, but like she literally wishes she could be that awesome. The 3rd book, she's really trying to be like a badass. I'm going to start a revolution. No. I do not believe that you got that in you at all. I'm here for the romance and I'm here for the drama, and it freaking serves that. Question number 10, Gort. Name a book you love that you forget to talk about. I have to choose A Warcross by Marie Lu. I really loved this book when I read it. and I read it probably around when it first came out. It's a duology, and I believe it's coming a movie or a TV show or something. And it's super exciting because it's such a fun book, and I'd love to reread it because I feel like I've forgotten a lot. Like, I forgot what happened in this book, but I know the romance in this was so soft. And if a book has a freaking cute romance, I'm destroyed, and it's everything to me. I'm kinda in love with love. But I also thought it was just a fun book, and I'm literally trying to remember what it's about. I know it's about high-tech video game shit, and don't let that freaking throw you off because it's really not that hard to get into. Even my friend Brittany was like, I didn't think I would like this, but ended up really freaking liking it. Someone invented these glasses and you put them on or something like that, and it puts you in this whole freaking universe, and it's such an intense video game that they start to have championships, and they're huge worldwide and millions of people watch them. Our main character, Amika, she accidentally hacks herself into one of these championships that has millions upon millions of people watching. And everybody's like, oh shit, who the frick is her? Because everyone knows these video games shit, like no one can hack into it. And somehow she did that. And then the whole world is looking at her now, and they actually throw her back into this championship, and she becomes freaking famous. And she was kind of poor before this, and like her whole world has changed. She's suddenly a video game like bitch, and like she is working, like this don't make any sense how I'm explaining this. She kind of has a romance with the dude that invented these glasses and this whole video game thing. He has a complicated life, and it's interesting. Question number 11, Ethan, name a character you'd want to go on a romantic broom ride with. So I really wanted to choose someone that I don't talk about constantly, but I do really freaking love. And I'm choosing Matthew Fairchild from Chain of Gold. He is a boy with a hard exterior that has so many problems, and I just empathize with him so much, and I feel for him so much. And he's bisexual. He is into fashion. He has a dog, and he just has like a charisma around him, and I very much appreciate everything about him. He cares so much for his friends. I am melting every time he comes on the page. I literally love him so much, and this book wouldn't be the same without him. Okay, bye. I don't know what else to say about that. Question number 12, Natalie, name a character who is proud of who they are. So for this, I chose Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson, and the character in here that I believe is really proud of who she is, at least in the beginning of the book, is Enchanted. She is the main character of the book, obviously, and she is an amazing singer. She's beautiful. She's everything. Like, I love her so much. But at the beginning of the book, she is really into her music, and you can tell that she knows she's good, and I love that about her. And this book is actually really freaking sad and scary, and major trigger warnings for mentions of sexual abuse, rape, assault, child abuse, kidnapping, and addiction to opioids. So it's very hard-hitting book, heavy topics, so definitely know that before going in. It's pretty much about this girl who meets one of the most famous singers in the world, and he's a pedophile, and he starts to use her, and it's just her throughout this book like deteriorating because of this relationship that she has going on with this dude who is definitely taking advantage of her. And it's so sad to see this girl fall apart throughout this book, but it's so important, and I feel like it could really help a lot of people be able to see red flags. He should have known better. That's the whole message of this book, is it's not your fault that this happened to you. The adult in this situation should known better and should have never even thought those thoughts. Well, that is it for this book tag. There's like 40 people that said on Twitter that they wanted to do this tag, so they're all listed down below. If you want to do the video, I would love for you to make sure to let me know that you did it. Tell me in the comments or tweet me or anything. I would love to see it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like it, comment down below. Have a good day. Please subscribe. Make sure to follow all my social medias, which are linked down below, and go click the bell button, which is right by the subscribe button, which you should already clicked, and goodbye.